In this video, we'll be discussing this IELTS writing task 2 question. More and more people nowadays visit well-known places to take photographs of themselves without looking at the place. Why do you think this is happening? Is it a positive or a negative trend? First step, understand the question. People visit famous places. They do not look at the place. They do not take pictures of the place. If a person goes to a tourist place and clicks their own picture versus if the person visits a tourist place and clicks the picture of the place, the points for reasons and positive negatives could be different. Pay attention to the phrase more and more people. This means that the number of people who do this is increasing. More and more people is a common phrase in essay questions. Here are a few other IELTS essay questions which use this phrase or something similar. This highlights a growing trend. You can write about this using some simple synonyms like a rising number of people or expanding group of individuals. Or you can also use some advanced phrases like there has been an upsurge in interest or there is a growing trend among the public, etc. You can see some such phrases on your screen. The word trend here is important. A trend means something that is happening regularly, a common habit or behavior seen in many people. This is a common question type in IELTS, although usually the word mentioned is development instead of trend. Here are some synonyms and related phrases you can use when writing about trends. We can say there has been a significant shift in public attitudes towards tourism, or the transformative development in digital technology has changed the way people engage with places they visit. When we talk about a trend in the context of people's actions, we can often replace this word with words like behavior, attitude, tendency, etc. Each of these words helps us describe how people are acting, especially in response to certain cultural or social influences. For example, in the essay, instead of saying the trend of taking selfies at famous places, we could say the behavior of taking selfies at famous places. Also, there are two questions and we need to make sure that we answer each question properly in separate paragraphs. So let's think of the points we can use when responding to these questions. I'll be discussing quite a few points. You do not need all of these points when writing a 250 to 300 word essay. This is something we'll be discussing a little more in detail after discussing the points. Let's first think of the reasons why this is happening. The first reason is that it is easy to take pictures today. Thanks to personal smartphones, everybody has high quality cameras in the palm of their hands. Social media has added to this behavior. People don't only click pictures for themselves, they click pictures to post on social media. There is a desire for validation. Pictures are posted to garner likes and shares. So we could say that people often prioritize online recognition over personal experiences. An extension to this point is a rise of influencers and content creators. Influencers have set a trend of turning travel into a photo shoot. Regular tourists also mimic or copy this behavior, hoping to go viral or achieve their 15 minutes of fame. So, the emphasis when visiting the tourist locations is on creating shareable aesthetic content rather than focus on personal experience. Another reason could be that tourism has become a status symbol. Traveling to famous places, traveling to famous destinations has become a way to showcase one's lifestyle and status. So, tourism has become more about personal image rather than meaningful experiences. Let's now look at some possible positives. This is the kind of question where there are more obvious negatives. Having said that, there could be some positives as well. Let's explore them. One major positive is that it is a way of memorializing one's experiences. So, people create lasting memories by capturing their experiences through photographs. All in all, the reasons could be misguided, whether it is about tourism being a status symbol or a desire for validation, but there could be some positive outcomes. All the benefits of travel, such as exposure to different cultures, boosting local economies, still apply when people travel to these places. And this fosters a great sense of globalization as people share experiences worldwide. Let's now look at the negatives of this trend. First, superficial travel experience. Visitors may prioritize taking photos over genuine cultural appreciation. Second, commodification of culture. The iconic locations, the famous tourist locations are commercialized, and this can lead to cultural erosion, reducing their authentic significance. Over tourism and the environmental damage as a result of it is another negative of this trend. When people go to these places not to enjoy the place, just for selfies and social media, etc., a lot of people would go to these places. There is increased foot traffic to popular sites. This can lead to overcrowding. Local resources and infrastructure are strained, and this can lead to environmental damage. And the last negative is that it encourages selfishness. The focus on personal photo opportunities can promote a self centered mindset. This is true for social media in general as well. So, individuals prioritize their own social media presence over being considerate to other travelers. They don't care about the cultural context of the location. They don't care about interacting with other travelers or the locals of the place. Let's now look at some possible formats for this essay. We start our essay with an introduction, we end it with a conclusion. In the conclusion, we need to clearly mention whether we think it is a positive or a negative trend based on the points that we mention in the body paragraphs. The second paragraph, in all the formats, answers the first question. It is enough even if we write only one reason, or we could give more than one reason as well. After this, we give reasons of why this is either a positive or a negative trend. For this, we can write only positives or only negatives, or we can write both as well. But in this case, we write either more positives than negatives or more negative than positives so that we can clearly take a stand in the conclusion. This essay clearly has more negative points and stronger negative points. So I have two choices. I can focus only on negatives and not write the positives at all. Or I can include more negatives than positives. I'll choose this option because I do have some good positive points, and this gives me a chance to use a wider range of vocabulary. Now we start writing. In the introduction, we paraphrase the question. That is, write the question in different words. It helps to start with a general statement before you paraphrase the question. To write your general statement, you identify the main topic or the central theme of the essay question and mention the topic in a general way. Then you connect it to the paraphrasing of the question. There could be more than one main topic or central theme of a question. For example, this is a possible general statement for this question. In recent times, the motivations behind travel and the behavior of tourists have evolved significantly. The main topics here are travel and tourism, but it also reflects change in behavior. The central theme for these general statements is changing personal priorities. There has been a noticeable shift in societal values, with people increasingly focused on self image and personal validation over meaningful connections and experiences. Another broader topic we could think of when looking at this question is about technology and social media. The widespread availability of technology has transformed how people approach travel, shifting their focus from authentic experiences to convenience and connectivity. In this case, we have indicated on the reasons for this trend, but we'll explain the reasons in detail later as well. We could also write about social media in the general statement. The growing obsession with social media has led to a change in travel priorities, with many now valuing destinations more for their visual appeal than their cultural significance. We can also have a philosophical approach to writing a general statement. We can begin with a thought provoking question or statement. For example, in a world where distance is no longer a barrier, what does it truly mean to travel? Has the journey lost its essence in the pursuit of convenience? So we start our essay with a general statement and then we paraphrase this part of the question. Here are a few options. An increasing number of visitors now prioritize capturing photos of themselves at iconic destinations, often at the expense of actually engaging with or appreciating the location. More individuals than before gravitate towards famous landmarks primarily to capture selfies rather than to immerse themselves in the rich history and culture of these sites. There is a growing trend of travelers prioritizing the perfect photo over authentic engagement with their surroundings, often visiting renowned sites primarily to take selfies rather than appreciating the location's significance. As you can see, there are many different ways you could paraphrase the question. It is important that you are able to seamlessly transition from your general statement to your paraphrasing of the question. They should not be disconnected from each other. On your screen, the transition phrases are highlighted. After the general statement and paraphrasing, we write the thesis statement. The thesis statement comes from this part of the question. It mentions what will be discussed in the essay. Advanced thesis statements include a mention of the points which we use later in the essay. Let's look at different ways to write a thesis statement. One way is just to mention that because this is happening, the questions arise why this is happening and whether it is good or bad. In this case, we are not using any of the points. Consequently, this raises the question of what drives this behavior and whether it signifies a positive or negative development in our society. A similar way of writing a thesis statement is starting with something like this essay explores or this essay will examine, and then mention that the reasons and whether it is a positive or negative trend will be discussed. A better way to write a thesis statement is give a hint of the kind of points which will be used later in the essay. This essay will delve into the technological and social influences behind this trend while also weighing its benefits, such as increased cultural exposure, against its drawbacks, including superficial travel experiences. So, using a general statement, then the paraphrasing of the question, and a thesis statement, we are done with the first paragraph. Now we start with the second paragraph, which answers the first question: why do you think this is happening? These are the points we've already thought of. As I mentioned before, it would be enough if you write just one reason. I will, however, be mentioning all of these. We start our paragraph with a topic sentence. A topic sentence is the first sentence in a paragraph that introduces the paragraph's central idea. That is, it tells the reader what you will be discussing in this paragraph. So, in the topic sentence here, we need to convey that we are giving reasons of this trend. We could do so by clearly mentioning the word reason, or we could convey it through phrases like has played a crucial role. After writing the topic sentence, we then mention the points that we have. In the topic sentence itself, we can mention technology, then go on to write about smartphones, social media, etc. As we write about one point after another, note the transition vocabulary such as moreover, further, etc., that is being used. The accessibility of technology, particularly smartphones, has played a crucial role in promoting this behavior of tourists focusing on clicking their own pictures instead of admiring the place they are visiting. Thanks to smartphones and gadgets, capturing moments has never been easier, often prioritizing selfies over genuine experiences. Moreover, the desire for validation through likes and shares on social media platforms like Instagram drives many to seek out famous locations for photo opportunities. This phenomenon has been further amplified by the rise of influencers who have transformed travel into a performative act. As a result, visiting renowned landmarks has evolved into a means of showcasing one's social status. In the next paragraph, we'll write about the positives. This will be a comparatively short paragraph because the main focus of the essay is that this is a negative trend. Once again, we'll start with the topic sentence, which conveys that we are going to be talking about the positives. The tone of the topic sentence conveys that there can be some positives, whereas when we start the paragraph with the negatives, the tone will be yes, there are lots of negatives. And these are the points of the positives that we will be using. There could indeed be some beneficial outcomes stemming from this behavior. Taking photos allows individuals to create lasting memories of their travels. Even with misguided motivations, travel can lead to increased cultural exposure and boost local economies as tourists flock to popular sites. Now we start with writing the negatives. Once again, we start with the topic sentence, which uses a contrast transition because we have written positives first and now we are starting with the negatives. And these are the points of negatives that we will be using. Despite the aforementioned benefits, the detrimental consequences of this trend warrant careful consideration. Firstly, many travelers experience superficial travel, missing out on authentic cultural interactions by focusing solely on selfies. Moreover, the commodification of culture poses a significant risk as iconic locations gradually lose their cultural significance, relegated to mere backdrops for photographs. Additionally, the surge in foot traffic often leads to over tourism, straining local resources and disrupting the community's daily life. Finally, This obsession with personal photo opportunities encourages a self centered mindset, overshadowing the true purpose of travel, which is to connect with diverse cultures and landscapes. Therefore, while capturing memories is essential, it is crucial to remain mindful of the broader implications of this trend. Now we end our essay, which clearly mentions that this is a negative trend, and the conclusion also summarizes the essay by mentioning some of the points that we have used. In conclusion, while the trend of taking photographs at famous sites can lead to some positive outcomes, such as creating lasting memories and encouraging exploration, the significant negatives, including superficial experiences and cultural commodification, suggest that this behavior is ultimately detrimental. It is essential for travelers to balance their desire for social media validation with a deeper appreciation of the places they visit. With this, we are done with the essay. Just to quickly review, we first made sure we understood the question properly. Then we thought of some synonyms that can be used in the essay. After that, we brainstormed some ideas. Based on the points we thought of, we decided which format to follow. And finally, we wrote our essay. That's it for now. I hope this helps you. Do like, share, and subscribe. Please support our channel. All the very best.